He gave his warm coat to a freezing stranger. That single act of kindness made him the target of a brutal syndicate and the only clean weapon for a vengeful Hell's Angel. Now, he must wage a public war with words while a shadow war of violence rages around him. If you're new here, subscribe and comment your location. Now let's begin. The wind cut like a knife. Leo shoved his hands deep into his pockets, hurrying back to his apartment. He was a freelance journalist, which meant he was mostly broke and always cold. He passed a bus stop. A girl sat there, hunched over. She wasn't dressed for the weather, just a thin hoodie. She was shivering hard. Leo stopped. He looked at his own coat. It was old, but it was warm. It was his only really good coat. He thought for a second, then he took it off. "Here," he said, holding it out. The girl looked up. She had bright blue eyes, red from the cold. She was younger than him, maybe early 20s. She looked surprised, then suspicious. "Why?" "Because you look like you're turning into an ice cube," Leo said. He smiled. "Just take it, I'm almost home." She hesitated, then took the coat. She put it on. It was huge on her. She hugged it around herself. "Thank you," she whispered. The words seemed to surprise her. "You're welcome. Get home safe," Leo said. He gave a small wave and walked away, the cold biting through his sweater now. The girl watched him go. She buried her face in the collar of the coat. It smelled like coffee and clean laundry. It was the first kind thing she had felt in a long time. 2 days later, Leo was in his tiny apartment, typing on his laptop. There was a loud knock on his door, not a friendly knock, a bang, bang, bang. Leo opened the door. 2 very large men stood there. They wore leather vests with patches. One patch said HELLS Angels, the other said Sanctum. The bigger man had a beard and hard eyes. "You Leo?" he growled. "Yes," Leo said, his heart pounding. "You gave your coat to a girl at a bus stop, a blue coat." "Oh yes." The big man nodded. "Come with us." "I don't think so," Leo said, trying to close the door. One of the men put his foot in the door. "It wasn't a question. My boss wants to talk," the girl's father. Leo felt a cold fear. The girl was a Hell's Angel's daughter. He had touched her. This was bad. He put on his shoes and went with them. They drove him to an auto repair garage called Sanctum Customs. It was clean and busy. They took him to a back office. A man sat behind a desk. He was older, with gray in his hair and a calm, scary face. This was Marcus. "Leo," Marcus said, "sit." Leo sat. "My daughter is Stella, the girl you gave your coat to. Her apartment's heating was cut, sabotaged, pipes frozen. A message from a rival group, the Volkov Syndicate. They are trying to pressure me." Marcus's voice was flat. "She was sitting at that bus stop because she was waiting for one of my men to pick her up. She was too proud to call and say she was freezing." "I just gave her my coat," Leo said. "That's all." "I know I had you checked. You're clean, a journalist, no police ties, no gang ties, just a guy who gave a cold girl his coat." Marcus leaned forward. "That makes you useful." "Useful for what?" "The Volkovs look legitimate. They have restaurants, nightclubs, construction. They hide their dirty money in these places. I can't touch them directly. It would start a war I'm not ready for. And the police, some of them are on their payroll." Marcus looked at Leo. "But a journalist can ask questions, can look at business records, can write stories about bad plumbing permits and fire code violations. You can attack them in the light where my hands are tied." Leo stared. "You want me to investigate the Volkov Syndicate as a journalist?" "Yes, you will be my public face, my clean hands. You dig up the dirt, you publish it. You cause them legal trouble, money trouble, public trouble, and while you do that," Marcus's eyes were ice, "my club will handle the shadows. We will find the men who froze my daughter. We will handle them. 2 wars, one you see, one you don't." "This is insane. They'll know I'm working for you." "No, they will think you are a brave, stupid journalist. I will pay you, good money, more than you make now, and you will have my protection." "And if I say no?" Leo asked. Marcus smiled a thin smile. "Then you leave. But the Volkovs already know a man in a blue coat helped my daughter. They are looking for that man. If you are not under my roof, they will find you, and they will not ask you to write a story." Leo understood. He had no choice. The kind act had pulled him into a war. "Okay," he said, his voice dry. "I'll do it." "Good." Marcus stood up. He went to a closet. He took out Leo's blue coat. He handed it to him. "Wear this. It's your badge now, a reminder of why you're doing this." Leo put the coat on. It felt different, heavier. Marcus introduced him to Stella, who was in the garage working on a motorcycle. She looked up, surprised to see him. She was wearing his coat over her work clothes. "Stella, this is Leo. He's going to be helping us. He'll be working from the office upstairs." Stella wiped her hands on a rag. She looked at Leo, then at her father. "Helping how?" "He's a writer. He's going to write about our neighborhood, the bad businesses," Marcus said carefully. Stella was smart. She understood immediately. Her eyes widened. "Dad, no, he's a civilian. He gave me a coat. You can't drag him into this." "He's already in it," Marcus said. "This is the safest place for him." Stella looked at Leo. There was guilt in her eyes and something else, a curiosity. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "It's okay," Leo said. "The coat looks better on you anyway." A small smile touched her lips. That was the first light moment. Leo started his work. He moved into a small room above the garage. It had a bed, a desk, and a window. He used his journalist skills. He looked up business records for Volkov properties. He read city council minutes. He looked for complaints, violations, anything. Stella often brought him coffee. She would look over his shoulder at his computer screen. "What are you looking for?" she asked one day. "See this nightclub, Ivory?" Leo pointed. "It's owned by a Volkov shell company. The fire inspection last month passed, but look at the inspector's name. He inspected 3 other Volkov properties the same week. All passed. That's statistically weird. Maybe he was paid off." Stella looked impressed. "You can find that." "It's just connecting dots," Leo said. He turned to look at her. She was close. He could see a smudge of grease on her cheek. He had the sudden urge to wipe it off. He didn't. The chemistry was there, in the small office, in the way she'd bring him lunch, in the way their hands would brush when she handed him a file. It was a slow, warm tension. A 18+ charge that was always present but never acted on. YouTube safe, but full of unspoken words. One day, Leo needed to see a Volkov construction site. Marcus sent Stella with him for cover. They pretended to be a young couple looking at new condos. At the site, Leo took pictures with his phone. Stella played her part, holding his arm, laughing at his jokes. Her hand felt small and strong in the crook of his elbow. It felt real, not pretend. A security guard came over. "Can I help you?" "We're just looking," Leo said, smiling. "Thinking of buying a unit. Heard great things about Volkov developments." The guard eyed them. "Sales office is downtown. This is a hard hat area." "Of course, sorry," Leo said. They turned to leave. Leo subtly took a picture of the guard's face. As they walked back to the car, Stella let out a breath. That was close. "Thanks for being a good actress," Leo said. She still held his arm. She didn't let go. "Who says I was acting?" she said quietly. Leo looked at her. The charged moment hung between them in the cold air. He wanted to kiss her right there, but he knew they were being watched. He just squeezed her hand against his side. Meanwhile, the club's shadow war was happening. Leo heard bits of it, muttered conversations in the garage, Marcus coming in late with hard eyes. One night, 2 of the club's men came back with bruised knuckles. They had found one of the men who sabotaged Stella's heating. Leo didn't ask what they did. He didn't want to know. He was making progress. He found a big piece of evidence. A Volkov-owned restaurant was dumping grease illegally, causing big problems. Leo wrote a sharp article about it and sent it to a local newspaper. The newspaper published it. The next day, the city fined the restaurant heavily. Marcus clapped Leo on the back. "Good, that hurts them in the wallet, perfect." But the Volkovs weren't stupid. A few days later, Leo got an email. It was sent to his professional address. "Mr. Adler, your article was interesting, but sometimes it is dangerous to dig in other people's dirt. Stop digging, or you will find yourself buried in it." Leo showed the email to Marcus. Marcus's face went dark. They threatened you, that's good. Good, Leo said. It means you're hurting them, and now they have threatened my asset. That gives me room to move. That night, the Sanctum garage was empty. The men were gone for hours. They came back looking tired but satisfied. The next day, Leo heard that a Volkov delivery truck had been vandalized, all its tires slashed, and the words "Pay your fines" painted on the side. The duet of justice was playing, Leo's public articles, the club's private actions. The light-hearted moments kept Leo sane, like when Stella tried to teach Leo how to change the oil in a car. He spilled oil all over himself. He looked ridiculous. Stella laughed so hard she cried. Leo laughed too, even though he was covered in grease. Or when Marcus made Leo try on a leather vest, as a joke, it was way too big. Leo looked like a child playing dress-up. The whole garage laughed. For a minute, Leo felt like he almost belonged. But the danger grew. Leo published another article, this one about the suspicious fire inspector. The inspector was suddenly reassigned. The Volkovs were getting angry. One evening, Leo was working late in his room. Stella knocked and came in. She had 2 mugs of hot chocolate. "Truce," she said, handing him one. "Truce from what?" he asked, taking the mug. Their fingers touched. "From all of this for 5 minutes." She sat on the edge of his bed. She was wearing his blue coat over her pajamas. "I never thanked you properly for the coat, for being kind before all this." "You don't have to thank me," Leo said. He sat next to her, not too close. "It was just a coat." "It wasn't," Stella said, looking into her mug. "It was warmth. It was someone seeing me as a person, not just Marcus's daughter, not a prize or a target, just a cold girl." She looked at him. Her blue eyes were serious. "Why did you do it, really?" Leo thought, "I guess, because once, a long time ago, I was that cold kid, and no one gave me a coat." Stella reached out. She put her hand over his. The touch was electric, warm. The charged chemistry filled the small room. They looked at each other. The air felt thick. Leo leaned in slowly. Stella didn't move away. Her eyes fluttered closed. Just then, the garage alarm downstairs blared. A loud, horrible sound. They jumped apart. Marcus's voice shouted from downstairs. "Leo, Stella, get to the safe room now." Leo and Stella ran out of the room. The safe room was a reinforced closet behind Marcus's office. They rushed inside. Marcus slammed the door behind them and locked it. They could hear shouting and the sound of breaking glass from the garage. "What's happening?" Stella asked, her voice tight. "Volkovs," Marcus said, his face grim in the dim light of the single bulb. "They're sending a message, a loud one." They listened. There were crashes, yells, then the roar of motorcycle engines starting up. Their own men were responding. After what felt like forever, the noises stopped. Marcus unlocked the door and went out. Leo and Stella followed. The garage was a wreck. The big front window was shattered. 2 customer cars had their windows smashed. Spray paint was on the walls, a crude V for Volkov. But the club's bikes were okay, and their men stood around, angry but unhurt. It was a smash and run, one man, David, reported. 4 guys, masks. They did the damage and took off in a car. We chased, but they lost us. Marcus looked around, his jaw clenched. Then he looked at Leo. "They hit my home, my business, because of your article about the fire inspector. The war is getting hotter." Leo felt sick. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean for this to happen." "You didn't do this," Marcus said sharply. "They did. This just proves your work is good. It hurts. Now we hurt back, but harder." The next day, Leo was scared to write anything. He sat at his computer, staring at a blank screen. Stella brought him coffee. She saw his face. "You can't stop," she said softly. "If you stop, they win. They scared you. That was the point." "I don't want anyone else to get hurt," Leo said. "My father knew the risks when he started this. We all did. But what you're doing, it's the right way to fight. It's the only way that might actually end them, instead of just beating them up until they come back later." She put a hand on his shoulder. "Keep going." Her touch gave him courage. He went back to work. He dug deeper. He found a gold mine. A Volkov construction project had used cheap, unsafe building materials. He had photos, invoices, everything. This could lead to a huge lawsuit, maybe even criminal charges. He showed Marcus, "This is big. If I publish this, the city will have to shut down the site. It could bankrupt that part of their business." Marcus read it. A slow smile spread across his face. "This is it, the hammer, publish it." Leo sent the article to his biggest contact, an investigative reporter at the city's major newspaper. The reporter was excited. He said it would run in 2 days. The Volkovs must have had a source at the newspaper, because that night they came for Leo. He was walking back from getting a late dinner just a block from the garage. A black car pulled up beside him. 2 men got out. They were big, dressed in suits. They didn't look like bikers. They looked like professional trouble. "Leo Adler," one said, "get in the car. Mr. Volkov wants a word." Leo turned to run. Another man stepped out of the shadows behind him, blocking his way. He was trapped. Suddenly, a motorcycle roared around the corner. It was Stella. She wasn't wearing a helmet. Her hair flew behind her. She drove the bike straight at the men. The men jumped out of the way. Stella skidded the bike to a stop between Leo and them. "Get on," she yelled. Leo didn't hesitate. He jumped on the back of the bike. He held onto her waist. The bike leaped forward. The men tried to grab them but missed. Stella wove through traffic, going fast. She didn't stop until they were back inside the Sanctum garage. They got off the bike. Both were breathing hard. You saved me," Leo gasped. Stella turned to him. Her eyes were blazing. "Of course I did." Then, without warning, she kissed him. It wasn't a gentle kiss. It was fierce, full of fear and adrenaline and all the charged moments they had stored up. Her hands were in his hair. His arms went around her, pulling her close. It was a kiss that said everything they hadn't said. It was YouTube safe, but full of fire and promise. When they broke apart, they were both shaking. "Okay," Leo whispered. "That happened." "Yeah," Stella whispered back, a small smile on her lips. Marcus walked in. He saw their faces, their closeness. He didn't look angry. He looked tired. "They came for you directly. That means the article is going to hurt them badly. We have 2 days until it publishes. They will be desperate." "What do we do?" Leo asked, his arm still around Stella's waist. He didn't let go. "We keep you safe and we prepare." Marcus looked at them. "The 2 of you stay together. Stella, you watch his back. Leo, you finish this. Make sure that article runs." The next 48 hours were a tense waiting game. Leo and Stella stayed in the garage apartment. They played cards. They talked. They learned about each other's lives. The chemistry was still there, but it was calmer now, warmer. It was turning into something real. Leo told her about growing up poor, wanting to tell stories that mattered. Stella told him about growing up in the club, loving machines, but hating the violence, feeling trapped by her name. "I don't feel trapped when I'm with you," she said quietly. "Me either," Leo said. The day the article was supposed to publish, the newspaper called Leo. The reporter sounded nervous. "Leo, there's a problem. Our lawyers are getting cold feet. Volkov's lawyers are threatening a huge lawsuit. They're saying our evidence is fake. We might not be able to run it." Leo's heart sank. "It's not fake. You have the documents." "I know, but the pressure is huge. I'm sorry." Leo told Marcus. Marcus's face turned to stone. "Then we make the pressure bigger." That night, Marcus and his men did something very public. They didn't attack Volkov people. They attacked a Volkov symbol. The big, flashy Volkov Tower construction sign downtown. They didn't vandalize it. They wrapped it in crime scene tape. They left copies of Leo's article printed out in a pile at the base. It was a silent, powerful statement: "We know your crime." Someone took a picture. It went viral on local social media. People started asking questions. What's in that article? Why are bikers protesting Volkov? The public pressure flipped. Now the newspaper had to publish the article or look like they were covering up for Volkov. The next morning, the article was on the front page. It was a bomb. City inspectors shut down the Volkov construction site that afternoon. The district attorney announced an investigation. Volkov's stock with legit business partners plummeted. Leo had done it. He had hurt them with the truth. That evening they got news. Alexei Volkov, the head of the syndicate, had been arrested, not for murder or extortion, for fraud based on the evidence in Leo's article. It was a white-collar crime, but it would put him away for a long time. The club had a celebration. It was a quieter one this time. They had won, not with guns, but with words and lawyers and public shame. Marcus found Leo sitting on the back step, looking at the stars. Stella was inside, getting drinks. "You did good, kid," Marcus said, sitting next to him. "You ended a war without firing a shot. Well, without you firing a shot." "Thanks," Leo said. "What happens now to me?" Marcus was quiet for a moment. "The job is done. You are free. You can go back to your old life. Take the money you earned and leave. You have no debt to me." Leo thought about his cold, lonely apartment, his empty email inbox. He thought about the warmth of the garage, the sound of engines, the smell of oil. He thought about Stella's laugh, her fierce kiss. "What if I don't want to go?" Leo asked. Marcus looked at him. "This life, it doesn't let go easily. Even the clean parts get dirty. Stella, she's part of this world, always will be." "I know," Leo said. "I'm not asking for a patch, I'm asking to stay. Maybe I could be the garage's PR guy, handle the real business paperwork, keep writing, but for you, the legit you." Marcus smiled a real smile. A journalist on the payroll, that would confuse a lot of people. He stood up. "All right, you can stay. The room is yours. The job is yours, but you and Stella, that's between you two. Just know if you hurt her, you answer to me, not as your boss, as her father." "I understand," Leo said. Marcus went inside. A minute later, Stella came out. She handed Leo a beer and sat down close to him. "Dad says you're staying." "Yeah, if that's okay with you." Stella leaned her head on his shoulder. "It's more than okay." She looked up at him. "You know, you never got your coat back." Leo looked at her. She was still wearing his blue coat. He smiled. "Keep it. It looks better on you anyway. Besides," he said, his voice soft, "it did its job. It brought me to you and to a war we actually won." Stella kissed him then, under the night sky. It was a sweet kiss, a promise kiss. The war was over. The empire of the club was still there, but it had changed a little. It had made room for a man with a pen and for a love that started with a simple act of kindness on a freezing cold night. The celebration at the garage was a release of tension. But for Alexei Volkov, the arrest was just a setback. From his jail cell, he gave one last order to his remaining lieutenant, a ruthless man named Ivan. 2 days after the arrest, Leo was officially moving his few things from his old apartment to the room above the garage. Stella was helping him. They were laughing, carrying a box of his books up the stairs. The front door of the garage burst open. It wasn't a member. It was a delivery man with a huge, beautiful flower arrangement. "For Stella Kovac?" he asked. Stella frowned, putting down her box. "That's me." She took the flowers. There was a card. She opened it. Her face went pale. "What is it?" Leo asked. She handed him the card. It was handwritten in elegant script. "A congratulations on your victory. Such a clever girl. Your father protected your body from the cold, but who will protect your heart from the fire? Ask your journalist about the real story, the one he didn't write. A friend." Leo felt a chill. What does this mean? What fire? Stella looked at him, confusion and a flicker of doubt in her eyes. "I don't know. What real story, Leo?" "I wrote the truth," Leo said, his voice rising. "Everything I found, I published." But a tiny seed of worry was planted in Stella's mind, and Leo saw it. Marcus came over. He read the card. His face hardened. "This is Volkov's last move. He's trying to divide us, to plant doubt. Ignore it." They tried, but the message did its work. Stella was quiet for the rest of the day. Later, she went to Leo's new room. "Leo," she said, her voice serious, "my mother died in a fire a long time ago. It was ruled an accident, a space heater in her studio. I was very young." Leo's blood ran cold. "Stella, I don't know anything about that. But Volkov does, she whispered. Why would he bring it up now? What real story could there be? Leo made a decision. Then we find out, together, not as a journalist for your dad, but as us, we find the truth. Stella searched his face, seeing only honesty. The doubt faded, replaced by determination. She nodded. Okay, together. They started digging, but secretly. They couldn't tell Marcus. He would shut it down, call it a trick. Leo used his research skills. Stella used her knowledge of the city's underworld history. They talked to old contacts. They looked at archived news reports. Piece by piece, a different story emerged. Stella's mother, Elena, had been an artist. She had wanted Marcus to leave the club life. She had been meeting with a city councilman about getting witness protection to take Stella and start over. The councilman's name was connected to businesses that were later taken over by Alexei Volkov. The accidental fire happened the night before she was supposed to sign the papers. Leo found an old, retired fire inspector in a nursing home. Stella went with him. The old man was shaky, but his memory was clear when Leo showed him a picture of the burned studio. Ah yeah, the old man said. That one. The official report said faulty wiring, but my boss at the time, he made me change a note in my notebook. I saw something, traces of an accelerant, something that makes fire spread fast, but the note disappeared. I was told to forget it. Stella's hand tightened around Leo's. Her eyes were full of tears, but her voice was steel. Volkov, he killed my mother to hurt my father, to stop her from making him leave. They had the truth, but it was old. The evidence was gone. The fire inspector's boss was dead. It was just a story. They couldn't prove it. They went back to the garage, hearts heavy. They had to tell Marcus. Marcus listened in silence as Leo laid it out. The room was deadly quiet. When Leo finished, Marcus didn't yell. He didn't move. A single tear traced a path through the dust on his cheek. Then he spoke, his voice hollow. I always wondered, she was so careful. He looked at Stella, his pain raw. I am so sorry. I brought this life to our door. I am the reason she is gone. Stella went to him and hugged him tightly. No, Dad, Volkov is the reason. Marcus held his daughter, then looked at Leo over her shoulder. You found this for her. You gave her the truth. That is a greater gift than killing Volkov in a dark alley. He took a deep, shaky breath. But he is already in a cage, and he will die there. That is his end. Our war is truly over now. The final piece of the conflict was resolved, not with more violence, but with painful, healing truth. The shadow war was done, the public war was won, and the personal war in Stella's heart had an answer. A week later, Leo was officially the business manager for Sanctum Customs. He had a real contract, a salary, and a desk in the office. He was writing honest ads for the garage. The blue coat hung on a hook next to Stella's toolbox, a symbol of how it all began. That night, Leo and Stella went for a ride on her motorcycle just for fun. They stopped at a cliff overlooking the city. The lights twinkled below. So, Stella said, leaning against him, a journalist, a mechanic, and a bunch of bikers, we're a weird family. The best kind, Leo said, wrapping his arms around her from behind. He kissed the top of her head. You know, I never got a chance to properly thank you for saving me from those Volkov guys. Stella turned in his arms to face him. A playful, charged smile was on her lips. Oh yeah, and how were you planning to do that? Leo smiled back, the chemistry between them warm and bright under the stars. I was thinking something like this. He kissed her. It was deep and sweet, and full of a future they had fought for together. It was a kiss that held the cold bus stop, the dangerous investigation, the painful truth, and the promise of a safer, better tomorrow. They were from different worlds, but they had built a bridge between them with a coat, with words, and with courage. And on that bridge, they had found a love strong enough to withstand any storm. The empire of the club remained, but within its walls, a new kind of strength now lived, the strength of truth and the enduring power of a simple, kind act that changed everything. Thank you for joining Leo and Stella's dangerous journey. Would you have taken the coat and the job? Let us know where you're listening from in the comments, and subscribe for more stories where a simple act of kindness pulls you into a world of impossible choices.